lots of people finding value in gold, and one of those examples on the world stage, Hugo Chavez. He wants his gold. He wants it back. He wants it back from the U.S. and from Europe. He has ordered his central bank to repatriate $11 billion in gold reserves. But to give you a sense of logistically what this means, that's 211 tons. So why and what could this mean for other countries? To tell us from Buenos Aires is author and researcher Adrian Salbucci. Thanks so much for being with us. So there are a lot of different explanations that have been given since this news was announced about why Chavez wants his gold back. What do you think is the foremost reason?
Well, there are two basic reasons here. One of them is financial. He obviously wants to protect the financial assets of his own country, so he is repatriating these 211 metric tons of gold, which sounds like a lot, but since gold is heavy, it's a relatively small volume, and he is asking the United States, Switzerland, Britain to give it back to him. But there is another level that this needs to be interpreted, and it's a political level. In a way, after seeing the way that the NATO countries, for example, are grabbing the assets of other countries, we're seeing it in Libya, we realize, and he very well realizes, I believe, that it is not about human rights. This is clearly all about gold. It's all about oil, about minerals, geopolitics, and global control. I think Hugo Chavez, in a rather crude way, is understanding that there is a global power elite embedded within the United States, Britain, and the European Union, but that do not respond to the interests of the American, British, or European peoples. And he sees that regime change, which has wreaked so much havoc in North Africa and the Middle East, is now coming towards Latin America, and his country is the first target, Venezuela.
So do you think he sees this as his defense against the U.S. or other countries freezing his assets in an act of economic warfare? Because that is an act of economic warfare. Do you think that's genuinely the concern?
Absolutely. I think he is understanding the domino effect that is coming this way. I'm speaking from Latin America, from Argentina. So we think that the next stage will very likely affect, well, the rest of Africa in the first instance, and then Latin America. And as I say, Venezuela is a prime target in this sense. And he is understanding that he has to defend his assets. And instead of putting them in Britain, the UK, Europe, and Switzerland, he is looking towards more friendly allies, such as placing these financial assets in Russia, in Brazil, or in China.
You said that this is an analysis in Latin America and other countries are concerned. Do you think other Latin American countries are going to follow suit and repatriate gold, pull their assets back home, pull them into other countries?
Things would have to get worse before that happens. Maybe some of the smaller countries which are aligned with Venezuela, such as Ecuador or Bolivia, might follow suit. However, the major countries, notably Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, will not do so, I don't think, anytime in the near future. So in a way, regrettably, Hugo Chavez is a bit on his own, and he should be more careful, I believe, the way he handles these things, because making it too obvious, he becomes a very, very clear target of what is a basically very powerful military machine that might target his country.
How does this make him a target, him taking his gold back? What exactly do you mean?
Well, let me just give you a very quick example. In November 2002, Saddam Hussein traded $1 billion oil for medicine. Instead of doing it in dollars for the first time in 2002, he did it in euros. And we know what happened to Saddam Hussein in March 2003, because the threat was seen that there could be a run on the oil market, turning it from dollars into euros. So now Hugo Chavez is setting the example that countries should call their gold back. If there were to be a domino effect caused by Hugo Chavez, well, I don't think that the global powers that be will just sit aside waiting for things to happen.
So are you saying that if Hugo Chavez ignited a trend where more people pulled their gold back, which could drive concern about there actually being enough physical gold, which could run up the prices of gold, that would make him a target? Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yes, because people are realizing, many countries, this is the first time a country is doing it officially, that flight to safety means moving away from strictly financial assets, which are basically paper or blips on a computer screen, and moving towards flight to safety in assets that have tangible value, such as gold, for example. So this could definitely have a very strong impact on the gold market, which is already rising above the $1,900 mark and is continuing to rise very quickly.
Just quickly, 40 shipments will be needed to carry these 17,000 bars by sea. Logistically, it's a challenge, and pirates, I would imagine, are a problem given the value of gold. Do you think it's worth the risk, yes or no, for him to bring it home?
Absolutely. If anything, he would just have to take more security measures just in case. And if anything, he wants to do it gradually because he wants to make sure that the gold that Venezuela sent out is the same gold that comes back and not some of those funny English which are lead.
He wants it as good as gold. Thank you so much for being on the show. Sorry to cut you off there. That was author and researcher Adrian Salbucci.